Parents, here are 5 activities that slow down your child's memory and ability to retain information. If your child does not stop these activities, your child will have problem with retaining information. And when your child has problem with retaining information, it means that your child will fail exams and your child might not do well in academics. So it's very important that you listen to the 5 activities and ensure you help your child to avoid those activities. Number 1 is what is very common: excessive screen time. Excessive screen time. Yes, you heard me. Spending too much time on phones, tablets, computers, or television weakens the memory and reduces attention span. And also, allowing them to watch social media skit or watch skits on social media also reduces attention span. You'll notice that most of the social media content are always fast moving, and this trains the brain to be lazy. It reduces the ability of the brain to think deep because the brain has been conditioned to fast content. So, when a child cannot really think deep, your child cannot recall. In learning, we have stages in learning. Encoding, that's like taking in of the information, analyzing the information, then we have a retrieval of the information. Now, even if your child has read, it is very difficult for the child to retrieve the information. So learning involves active process. The brain is always active, but this reduces that attention span completely, and the child ends up not being able to retain information. Number 2, lack of sleep. Lack of sleep affects how the brain retains information. When a child doesn't sleep well, the brain may not be able to retain or retrieve information. Now, this is what happens. After studying or after reading, and the child goes to bed and the child is sleeping, the brain reorganizes the information and stores the information in the permanent memory waiting for retrieval. Now, meaning that if the child does not have adequate sleep, this process of rearranging, organizing information, and storing the information in the permanent memory will not happen. Obviously, the information remains on the temporary memory, which can be wiped away within 24 hours. So it's important that your child should have adequate sleep. Ideally, every child should have between 8 to 12 hours of sleep every day. Anything shorter than this has a devastating effect on the child. So as a parent, you have to be very conscious of this fact. Sometimes we'll ask questions why our child is not doing well. There are these small things contribute. So today, pay attention to your children's sleeping pattern. Ensure they have enough sleep so that they can excel in their academics. Number 3, multitasking. Doing many things at the same time. Multitasking. When a child is watching television and at the same time is reading, or when a child is operating the phone and at the same time is reading, the child will end up confusing the brain. And when the brain is confused, the brain cannot retain information. So each time your child is being distracted and at the same time reading, it's not going to work. It's just a waste of time. For brain to really encode information, store information, attention is needed, focus is needed. So when your child sits down to read, ensure that every form of distraction is removed. Whatever object, gadget you think might distract him should be removed. Now, this is to ensure that he focuses completely on the study. Multitasking only brings confusion to the brain, and once the brain is confused, learning, retention, or memorizing will not happen. So pay attention whenever they are reading. Some might smuggle their phone and hide it somewhere. When you are not looking that direction, they bring out the phone and start looking at the phone and do one or two things. No. Even if they want to devote 40 minutes or 1 hour for the reading, ensure that they are committed to that 40 minutes or 1 hour, and they are going to achieve a whole lot than a situation whereby you see them operating their phone and they are reading, or their computer is on, they are reading, or they are looking at television, they are reading. That is those are not productive. 40 minutes, 1 hour should be completely focused, and you see the child would what? Excel. Number 4, lack of mental stimulation. Lack of mental stimulation. When the brain is not constantly engaged, the brain becomes weak. So your child should always solve problems, even with calculations, answer questions, discuss what is being read, or teach others what is being read. Now, the more your child engages the brain, or the more the brain is engaged, the better it becomes. Look, when the brain is not being engaged, it weakens. Also, like the muscles, the more you train the muscles, the more the muscles become effective. So the brain is not always engaged, the child is not asking questions, the child is not solving problems, the child is not teaching others, the child is not discussing what is being read, then the brain weakens. So stimulation of the brain is very important for your child to improve in learning. Number 5, poor diet. Unhealthy foods affect brain development. Yes, you heard me. If a child does not eat healthy, it will affect the development of the brain. So sometimes it's not always about you are not reading, you are lazy, you are that. The food, what the child takes in, affect the brain development. Now, excessive consumption of sugary food or junks will affect the ability of the brain to concentrate. So some of us that load our children with fizzy drinks in the morning, chocolate, sweet, sugar, chewing gum early in the morning, they are already consuming most of those sugary stuff and also eating junk. What happens? It makes body to be overact, to be hyperactive, and that will affect concentration, ability of the brain to focus. So please, instead of giving them too much or excess sugary food, get fruits. Let them take fruits. Foods that are rich in omega-3, iron, and vitamins also help the formation of the brain and development of the brain. So please today, reduce the sugary things you give to your child. Reduce the junk food. Go natural. I know that the economy might be funny, but the reality is, if you really want to achieve, help your child to have a very good memory, whatever the child eats, attention should be paid to. Okay, you have to pay attention to what you give the child. If you found the information in this video useful and helpful, please immediately like, share so that others can also learn from it.